Man, I get the argument that art is subjective and all of that, but are these graphics worthy of 2025? When was Bioshock made? Like, why does Bioshock, made ages ago, look better than this modern crap? Which, by the way, had a much higher budget than Bioshock Infinite, and also more people working on it, and this is what they delivered. Would you buy, no, honestly, would you buy an RTX 490 Ti? Would you spend the money so you can play games like this? You know, it's funny, like, if you're literally incapable of making the game look good, just use cartoon graphics then. Do what Overwatch did. But like, this is a AAA company. The fact that gamers don't even have standards anymore, it's baffling. I'm not even talking about the characters, like the background and everything. Everything looks bland and bad, you know? Like, again, you can go back into the past and take games that have been made years ago, like Doom, and it looks much better than this. And this is before Sweet Baby touched it, by the way. Like, this is a early picture that got leaked. This is what happened after Sweet Baby touched it. This is a game where Wolverine has medkits, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So you may wonder, what the fuck? Well, apparently this is Jean Grey. Yeah, that Jean Grey from X-Men that you grew up with, and she was insanely beautiful and gorgeous. I don't think she aged pretty quickly. I don't think she survived Sweet Baby. Like she survived many mutants, but not Sweet Baby. Like, look what they did to it, right? And the interesting thing is also the gaslighting that follows, right? Because they just don't want to admit, it's like, look, we just don't like women in video games. Like, we don't even like using the word women. We like using body type B, right? And that's what we're going with. It's part of our inclusivity. We think it's a good thing. We don't care if you don't want to buy the game. That's why they don't say that. Like what they say is, if you don't like this, you are a Khmer, right? Because it's either or. Either you like grandma, either you like the aunt at the grocery store, or you are the Khmer. There is no in between. But what's also interesting is that they come up with all the bullshit, basically saying that, you know, we just don't have the technology. We just don't have the technology. And what's interesting is that this doesn't look that good either. Like, again, there are games that have came out before this. Like, for instance, Batman Arkham City, right? Like, Catwoman in that game looks gorgeous. And it's a game that's so old. Batman Arkham Asylum. You got Harley Quinn in that game. She looks gorgeous. Games that were made over 10 years ago, right? And they look better than this shit. And not only that, like, if you look at the engine itself, like, they do all the water reflection and all that stuff. Because, like, the games back then were at least limited by the technology. So you can say, well, they didn't make the games look any better simply due to the fact that the technology wasn't there, right? But now we got the 490 Ti's and we got, like, modern technology. But what they did back then, in order to compensate for the lack of graphics, is that they played a lot of attention to the world and the environment. And was like, what if the water reflects the light? What if, you know, when you walk into the water, it causes little waves to create immersion? That's what they did. Now you don't even get that. You get shitty graphics. And notice how the male character looks the same, right? Like, they don't touch the male character. And I honestly think that this type of game are for people that look like this, right? Representation matters. These are the people that work on these games. It's getting so bad. I already made a video yesterday about a person that's pushing for diversity, right? A black woman. And they're an artist, or was it a black man? I don't know. I didn't ask the pronouns. But, like, they were an artist that worked at these types of games, and they were also defending Sweet Baby and all of that shit. But they were outraged that every single picture that they sent came back completely different than the original. So they would send, like, a character that looks like this, and it would come back looking like this. And notice, it's not just the manly jawline, and it's not just, like, removing of the breasts and everything, but it's also aging the character to like, where they're, like, 45, maybe 50. And, like, who the fuck plays Wolverine? And the answer is teenagers. Like, this is a game for teenagers. Usually, you want the main character, and I said this before, like, this is writing 101. you want the main character to be around like 8 or 5 years older than the targeted audience. So like if the audience is 18, well, you don't want to go over 26. Like that should usually be the limit, because what people relate with more than diversity, you know, oh, I have the correct skin color, so I need to see myself in the television because all people look alike, right? No, that's bullshit. What people relate the more with people within their age bracket. So like teenagers want to see movies with other teenagers. That's why American Pie is popular with teenagers, and if you watch it now, you think it's garbage. But at the time, it was really cool and popular because, well, you watched it when you were a teen. People that are adults like to see movies with other adults, right? Like, it makes sense. And these are like the video games that are marketed for teenagers. Like, I wouldn't play this shit. It's not my thing. But they're ruining an entire industry. They're ruining it for the younger generation. And then they're also baffled that the younger generation just consumes anime. Like pick any anime you want. Literally any is better than this. You know what I think? I think they invented the best anti-piracy software in the fucking world. Like, they're going to put Denuvo out of a business. No one is going to watch this, even if it's free. Like, you would have to pay people money. I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't watch it on a Let's Play. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. And there's several reasons. Like, first of all, the graphics, right? They're important. If graphics don't matter, why don't they just put stick figures? Cheaper to animate, cheaper to draw, right? But it's also like when you see this, you know the gameplay. Like, you just figure out the gameplay just by looking at it. The idea that visuals aren't important is the most asinine thing in the world. If visuals aren't important, why even have box art to begin with? What's the purpose in putting box art with interesting titles that probably cost a lot to brand and make? Why do that? Because the answer is that people are visual creatures, and they do care about graphics and visuals. And they will say, oh, so what's wrong with one woman looking like that? Well, it's not one woman looking like this, it's all of them. Everything that Sweet Baby touches ages up and looks like they're coming from California after doing drugs. But seriously, if you see a woman like this, wouldn't you recommend a drug test? It's like, yeah, you know, what you want to work at our company? Sure, but you gotta submit to a drug test first, like just to be safe. And my fucking god, the necklace as well, right? Like they really want to hammer the point in that she's old. They really want to hammer it that this is Jean Grey from X-Men and she's like 55 or something. Who buys these things? I mean, look, it doesn't take a genius to know that this game is going to be dead on arrival. You know, I would love, because there's a lot of people criticizing me for these takes. I would love to see when I have one take like this and then the game actually becomes Game of the Year and they will be like, V, you were wrong. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.